I think there is more balance now. We got to play like it. I want the perimeter guys to play really well and the post guys to play really well, and then you have a really good team. And we had that in, I guess, the last really, really good team consistently was 2012, even though last year at times we were pretty doggone good. But that team had the consistency of and the balance of inside and outside scoring. But we do have some people there. Now they got to step up and just do it. And 3 practices is all we've had, and I've been pleased with the workouts. This team hasn't shown yet on the court against other teams that they can do everything. We still don't have anybody that's proven they can be an inside scorer, whether it's Tyler Hansbrough, Tyler Zeller, Sean May. We don't have anybody on this team that's proven that they can score against relative quality opponents every night. We haven't proven yet that more than one guy can step out to the three-point line and make the shot. He's a basketball player. He understands how to play the game, Brett. He makes people better himself, and he sort of tries to figure out where he can do the best thing for everybody else. I mean, he really does. He's more a facilitator who can do things himself with a little help from those guys. He can't do it by himself. He's got to have somebody setting the screens, getting the ball to him, getting it off the board, getting it out, and all those kind of things. But he's a complete basketball player. He's the best shooter, probably the best driver, best defender. If I had 5 of them at the same size, we'd be really good. And I've said this, we practiced 3 times, and I know I've repeated this at least 3 times. That is our best player. And don't everybody forget that. If that's the case, then we should give him more opportunities to do some things, and he handles that really well. There's not a conceited bone or a selfish bone in the boy's body. I've done that before, and I can easily do that again, and I was very, very, very comfortable with that. When decisions have to be made that are going to determine the outcome of the game, Marcus is going to be heavily involved. And whether that's with the ball in his hand to make the play or make the pass or make the shot or whatever, I don't know yet. But he's going to be involved in doing that. I think that I've mixed them up in practice now for 11 practices, 8 this summer and counting the tour, and 3 practices so far. I have yet to put all 3 of them on the court at the same time, but that's going to happen. Well, he's running better. He's more explosive. I want him to be more aggressive thinking. That doesn't mean foul people. Get the ball and go stronger to the basket. You're not carrying 285 to 295 now to explode up there and get it closer to the rim when you do it. I think he's got to realize that he's worked his tail off the court to do something. To me, it's a lot more difficult than changing as a basketball player. I mean, losing 25, came in at 319. He's in 270 to 275 range now. That's a lot more difficult than what I'm asking him to do as a basketball player. He's got the knack. I mean, he really does, which we saw when we recruited him too, is he's a very efficient player. Ball bounces around, all of a sudden it bounces to him and he lays it up. It's a pretty good trait. But he is a very efficient player that got to get him to be a little bit better on the defensive end of the floor, got to get him bigger and stronger so he can help us on the backboards. But like I said the other night in the pickup game for a late night, he misses his first shot and then makes the next 8, 7, whatever it was, 7 or 8. So it helps us. And 3 practices in is a little too early to try to say much more than that, though. He hasn't had the retention of what we did a couple of years ago nearly as well as I thought he would. And yet he's bounced back quicker as a player than I ever thought he would. He's doing fine. You could have told that yesterday when you'd have seen him hanging over the trash can, but he's really doing okay. And but it's been a shock to see how quickly some of the things have come back to him. And I'm pleased with him. I really am. Our practices right now are pretty vicious inside. I mean, there's some guys wanting to play, and they're not taking many names nor just taking prisoners is what they're doing, and it's that part I really like. The competition is pretty heated, but those guys all did a nice job in the off season of doing the things that they can do with their body, and now they've got to translate it into. Again, I've said this so many times, I'm already sick of hearing it myself. But 1 or 2 or 3 of those guys has got to step up and say, I'm going to be a big-time player. I don't think there's anybody's question in here that Marcus last year stepped up and said, I'm going to be a big-time player. Now, one of the post players has got to step up and say that and not just be willing to run up and down the court and wait on Marcus to do something. Instinctively, he makes good plays around the basket, going to the basket, making an easy play. Sometimes makes a tough play too, but I mean, he has an ability to take the ball to the basket. He can be a very good defensive player. We just got to get his level of intensity to a higher level and be able to maintain that. But you know, one of the great accomplishments that anybody can get from me is to say somebody reminds me of Jackie Manuel, and Theo's a more athletic Jackie Manuel who can score. And so we need him to play to his strengths, you know, get the ball, bust out on the break, get to the offensive board, get some steals, go down on the break. And when he does that, he's really good. You'd see the brief flash of the dunk against Louisville and Mohegan Sun, or you'd see it, but I've seen it more often of those plays, particularly in Nassau. He had a chance to, I mean, wasn't he a leading scorer in one game, 17, 18, 19? He could have had 30 if he'd make a layup, you know, that kind of thing. So it's time for the same answer over here. I don't care if it's Bryce or Isaiah or who it is, but somebody's got to step forward. But he has more ability than he's comfortable showing. I got to get him to understand you're pretty doggone good. Step out there and be more aggressive, because when you have that ability, show it. And I think that's one thing with Isaiah. He just hasn't shown that yet that he can do it, but he can. Oh, I love this time period. I really do. That the teaching, trying to mold the guys. I've always said coaching is trying to get my guys to do what they can do better than you can get your guys to do what they can do. You know, if I have more talent and get them to do that, then we're going to be really good.